How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wicked New England. I'm here with my co-host, as always,
Anthony.
John.
All right, guys. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk to you a little bit about the gear we use on our investigations. This is actually something some of our friends have asked us about, some of our, colleagues and so forth. So we're kind of going to just get into it. Starting with first and foremost, the first thing you want to definitely have is a camera, if you have it. A lot of people use their cell phone. That's cool too. Cameras nowadays. I'm actually using this one linked up to the GoPro that's filming us to kind of keep track of where our placement is on the screen. That's another option you can go. But we have these 4K cameras. These aren't really name brand cameras. They're more or less Chinese no-name brands that we picked up off of Amazon, but they still do the job pretty well. Use micro SD cards, or SD cards rather, every single one of them. We each have one of these as well. That gives us up to 3 camera angles on that. As you can see right here, so this one I have, John.
This one's mine.
Yep. And this is Anthony's right here. So every single one of them does have night vision, which is awesome because that's how we prefer to shoot, is at night, in night vision. Okay. And next up, this is an upgrade we made along the way. We'll just get into this too. So like we had a lot of complaints about sound. That's a big thing. So I picked up this wireless Synco system. So it comes with 2 of these transmitters. And it comes with a receiver. The receiver is actually on the GoPro right now, which is why you're hearing us, and the other transmitter is actually right up above our head, picking up the audio, so we should be coming in a lot clearer. Comes with windscreens, lots of cables, attachments, different things you need. You can use them as lav mics. They come with those as well, so if you wanted to run those up through your shirt, you can actually just clip on the transmitter as well. You actually don't even need a lav mic connected to it, so that's pretty good as well. Awesome stuff. Really gives us the ability to be heard a lot better, and also hopefully pick up some of those sounds that we hear on investigations and so forth. Another thing, John, if you want to talk about this a little bit. So this is another upgrade we made quite recently.
So yeah, one of the things that we wanted to branch out into was thermal imaging. So we found this one on Amazon. This is probably the lowest end, I would say, of thermal imagers, but basically how it works is you turn it on, it gives you a little bit of an image. We're kind of too far away to really show it off, but shows you the image of the area, and then you can take up to 100 pictures per save with this. Now, how we kind of used it yesterday, I don't know if we want to go too much into it.
Sure, yeah, go right
ahead. We did kind of hold it in front of the camera, that way you could see how we're seeing it from the screen on this, which it's not a huge screen, but it's enough to be able to see what you're doing. From there, you can also connect this to the computer and just upload everything that's already on there.
If you want to turn it around too, John, you can kind of see the size of the screen here. I don't know if you want to like kind
I think
of
it was like a
go up a little bit closer to the lens so people can see it.
2.8
2.8-inch screen. Yeah.
You know,
So
nothing crazy, but it is an upgrade.
And it definitely gives you that ability of seeing the different temperature readouts, if you will, and seeing if anything's like a cold spot or something like that coming in. So that's a pretty good thing for us.
Yeah, and just to see the ambient temperature without having to use the average kind of scale. That way it's still cost effective for our first one, but we still are able to mess around with the temperature in the area.
And then just moving forward, also sticking with visuals first. So we also have some generic action cams as well. Like we have this DB Power action cam. It does 1080. It does not do 4K, but still gives you a decent image. We plan on using this as a body cam in the future. To, once again, give us a different angle, which is also awesome. But if you're into action cams and that's kind of the method you're wanting to shoot, downside is they don't have night vision. But there are plenty positives about it as well. So the other one we have is a GoPro Hero 12. That's actually what we're filming on, so what you're seeing us on, and what every podcast has been shot on has been a GoPro Hero 12. And it's great. It also comes with a Volta handle, and an accessory kit basically too. But the Volta handle, what's great about that is it actually charges it up to 5 times the battery. So you actually, in a sense, get 6 batteries for the price of 1. And then just speaking of batteries, when we're talking about GoPros, so one thing we also have here is this charging case and additional GoPro batteries as well. So we have the 3 batteries plus the charger case, and we also have the Volta handle, which can charge it up to 5 times as well. So in a sense, it's given us the ability to have 8 batteries, which is amazing. So all of our daytime shots, that's what I've shot with so far, has been our GoPro. And at nighttime when we're using the IR, we switch to the camcorders, which is good. So moving forward from that, I guess the next thing we should talk about is probably IR torches. So we have these as well to mount to our cameras. They go through the cold shoe mount on the top, just like so. We just slide it in there, lock it down, and that's going to give you an enhanced field of view when it comes to the infrared. So that's going to give us the ability to see further in the dark, which is also awesome.
Which, to kind of put into perspective, you have 3 kind of bulbs on mine anyway.
Yeah, on John's. So on mine, for example, there's 2 IR dots that are in the lens or the door, if you will, for the viewfinder. And then on Anthony's camera as well.
Mine is right on the lens underneath it.
Yeah, Anthony's is right underneath the lens right here. So multiple options depending on which camera you choose. They all come with some sort of night vision for the most part, these camcorders. But it's always good to be able to see more. And I can tell you just from personal experience from using these over the last few jobs, this is one of the routes I'm going to be going to upgrade, because they make another version that's actually a little bit taller, which has more rows of the infrared LED. So that's definitely going to be a way I want to go. Okay. Moving forward from that, keeping with visuals just for a second, we also have a digital camera. And in addition to that, every single one of us obviously goes to the job with a cell phone. So nowadays, you almost don't even need these because you can use your own personal cell phone for that. So just another thing to go over, folks. You know, if you're looking to get into the ghost hunting game, really a cell phone and a voice recorder is like pretty much all you need to get in and start making some content. I also would recommend a flashlight. So parlaying into that next category, we'll talk about those. So we have some different variations. So we have little flashlights, like this is a Nebu, and not to blind the camera, but we're going to do that anyway.
Charge.
Yeah, so it's actually dead from last night. But anyway, that one's pretty bright, folks. We also have this one here, which is one I picked off of Amazon.
There you go.
There you go. So you should be blind right about now. If not, epilepsy warning.
Put a
and
seizure warning on that.
Yeah. So very cool.
Yeah.
Another option. One also focuses out to a solo spot or a wide field of view. So what we have also here is a laser pen, which I'm not going to shine this into the camera because I don't want to take the chance of potentially damaging the lens. But this also does the laser grid, which if you've seen on other ghost hunting shows, actually sets up exactly what it sounds like. It's a laser grid, and if anything were to pass through that field, you'd be able to see it. You'd be able to see some movement. So,
and we also use that on the Beaumont job if you want to go back and look at that video.
Yep.
Actually, speaking of things that we used on the Belmont job but don't use too often, we have this camera as well, and this is kind of just your average trail cam. If anything moves, it'll take a picture.
It'll also shoot it. Just kidding.
No, it does not shoot. But it is pretty cool just because you can kind of just set it up and leave it there if it's just an area that you don't really plan on doing too many hardcore investigation aspects over there. You can just set this up and let it run.
Yep. Yeah, so just to speak a little bit more on this, so it's motion activated, folks, so if anything moves in that area, in that zone, it's going to take a picture of it. So there's a good chance for spirit photography. So this is also another one that's cool to have, which actually we haven't used it as much, but I feel like we should probably take advantage of it more often. You know, we haven't really set it up, but we really should. So moving forward, I can definitely say we're gonna. Couple other things. So so we talked about voice recorders. You know, one of the basic things a ghost investigator or a paranormal investigator can have is a voice recorder for EVP. Now, some people do use voice recorder apps on their cell phone, but I wouldn't really recommend that as much. They don't really come in as clear, don't get the same bands as what a digital voice recorder could. This one was actually only $20 on Amazon. It's actually a really good price. And also everything that we have here that I can find, I'm going to link in the description as well if you're curious about where to buy any of these items. And also, if you were to buy any of these items from Ghost Stop, you'll actually be supporting the channel. So with the link that we're going to put in below, anything you purchase from Ghost Stop will actually give us 10% of that purchase price, and it'll actually go back into our channel to help us grow. So we'd obviously definitely appreciate that. So please keep doing that. So we have this one here. It's pretty heavy steel, which is nice. It's got two enhanced microphones on the top, which picks up some of the noises from far away. It does multiple levels that are just not detectable by the ear. Same concept with this one here. This is another one we purchased off of Amazon. This is actually John's, but takes a micro SD card just like this one does. In a sense, they're all pretty much the same, right? Just a little bit variations, maybe different interface. You might want a different one or another one. So shop around, look at the different versions that they have, and pick out what's best for you. You do not have to use a certain $1,200 Panasonic in order to get good EVP results, guys.
No.
I know that's the fan favorite of ghost hunting, if you will, but at that price it's kind of a little ridiculous unless you're really out there making thousands of dollars like per episode or something like that, which obviously we are not. So we're still getting into it. But moving on from that, so another thing we've upgraded along the way. So we started out just using the Spirit Talker app, and now we actually have a SB7 Spirit Box. So that's another way we've upgraded our kits in the long run. So this will sweep through forward or reverse, depending on how you select it, through AM and FM bands as well, to try and get EVP out of that. Also, it will detect changes in the temperature field as well, so it can go off if temperature drops by more than 5 degrees. This will also give off a warning for us. And it also comes with a built-in flashlight. So it's kind of like a little multi-tool. Kind of cool. So that's another thing I would definitely recommend if you're looking for EVP and so forth. I don't know how these guys feel right now personally, completely. We'll talk more of that as time goes on, but I personally am losing my faith in the Spirit Talker app. We'll say it's fun, it's entertaining, and yes, it has yielded some results in some of the videos in the past, but I'm starting to feel a little skeptical as to its genuine ability, just because of the repeat phrases, if you will, that have popped up on multiple jobs. And so therefore I'll be going more to the SB7 than I will in the past to the Spirit Talker. I'm not going to say the Spirit Talker is never going to make an appearance. We'll still probably pull it out once per job, but as far as trying to yield like more incontrovertible proof, I'll be going to the SB7 because I think it's a little bit more scientifically backed. Okay?
And I think, I mean, I've been pretty open with it. Apps are fun, and they might hold some results. However, using the actual tool would be more believable, I would say.
Yeah.
Than any of the apps.
Absolutely.
know?
Anytime it's an actual tool. And moving on from that too, this is something that all of us have, but just sticking with the concept of sound, shotgun mics. So this is something we're going to be upgrading more in the future as we go along. I can tell you there's a Rode that I purchased, want to purchase for my camcorder. I know John's looking at a Comica. There's multiples out there on the market. It's just whatever you're looking for, whatever you think is best. But these shotgun mics definitely enhance the recording ability of the camcorder and are able to get sounds that are further out. Some of these have a decibel booster as well, which will amp up the sounds that are coming through. So that's definitely something we're going to want to get more of in the future. For the time being, I'm still using the Synco system that we originally purchased. So this is connected, like I said, to the camera right now. So you should be hearing us a lot louder and clearer than you used to be on the podcast as well. Comes with a nice hard case. I definitely recommend this if you're looking for a wireless microphone system. $100, which is actually a really good price for that. Some of the Rode mics that are comparable are actually around like $200 to $300. So at a third of the price, and it works, in my opinion, just as good. Based on all the reviews I've seen, I would definitely recommend this item.
And especially, I know I'm a bit biased, but ever since we started bringing this out, it's been night and day compared to our first video versus now. You know,
much better.
It's awesome.
It's amazing when you have money and you can upgrade. So moving on from that, this is actually our newest piece of equipment. Actually, we're on with the thermal. So both of these were debuted last night for the first time, which we did an investigation of Freetown Ledge. You guys should be seeing that video sometime in December. if my calendar is correct, by how we're releasing our investigations. There's still a couple of investigations coming out before that one, just because we're trying to release them in the order that we shoot them. Okay, so we do have a REM pod now. This will do motion activation as well as temperature. Just to kind of turn it on here and give you kind of an idea. So this is on right now. If I were to touch the antenna, right, it goes off, gets close to it. Fun. Okay. Right. So just to give you an idea of that, and I'm sure you've seen these on multiple ghost hunting shows, YouTube channels. To be honest, the first time I saw Exploring with Josh is what made me want one of these so bad, because one of the episodes I saw that he had made, he had debuted the REM pod. I believe he was doing the Conjuring House the first time he used one, and that was cool. I was like kind of hooked right then. I'm like, I gotta get one of those, definitely, like, for the channel. Moving on from that, another more or less expensive tool that you can buy and is definitely good for paranormal investigation would be EMF meters. So we have 3 different variations of that right here. So some of them have a nice digital screen here, readout. Some of them are colored, some of them black and white, monochrome, whatever, if you will. This one is a tri-field meter. It does read 3 different energy fields based on the sensitivity, which comes in handy as well. This is the one that I have. It's a little bit different. Same 3 fields though, so it's same concept as the other one that Anthony has. So they look a little different, but they do the same job. Okay,
And
this
it
one
does
also
actually can
temperature.
take temperature.
Right. So, I mean, that's another way that you can get multiple tools out of one, which is always a great thing because it's going to save you cost. When you're trying to get into a channel and set it up for yourself, start doing investigations, any way you can save money is great. And then the K2 meter.
This
which
one's
John will talk
actually
about.
mine. This is my EMF meter. This is probably.
I thought it was the groups. Just kidding.
So, this is probably the most basic EMF that you can get.
But the most popular. So
yes.
that's something not to overlook because everybody you see who does a paranormal investigation channel, right up to the people on TV with Ghost Adventures and Ghost
It's
Hunters,
not
they
expensive.
use a K2 meter.
It's not expensive, and it is probably the easiest one that we have to use and read.
One button to click on and off.
Yep, it's right in that center,
Boom. Okay.
and then it adjusts.
Let me see that real quick. So just kind of give you a little demo here. So we'll turn on my REM pod, which is going to emit an EMF signal as well. I'll turn this on, like so. And the closer I get to this REM pod, that's going off, and this is going crazy. So you can kind of see how you get near an electromagnetic field, how that's going to go off. Okay?
And actually, during investigations, what we'll do is we'll test it and say, oh, is it going off because of whatever other piece of equipment we're using? And we'll test it and see how much it goes off based on that equipment, how close we have to be, to kind of debunk if anything was going on outside of a like a spirit that appeared or anything like that. Not to plug too much, but since that is the cheapest option, I actually could have saved a couple bucks by buying it from Ghost Stop. My initial thought was I have a gift card to Amazon. I'm just gonna buy it there. It was like $2 cheaper on Ghost Stop, but either way,
You should buy it from Ghost Stop and use our link.
yeah.
Help the channel.
But either way, that is probably the cheapest tool that you would get aside from maybe a flashlight or, you know, just using your phone.
Yeah, and once again, folks, right? I mean, we're looking at flashlights. Boom, right? It's in your cell phone. You record audio, you can take pictures, you can do a lot with just your phone. Okay? Do I recommend that in the long term? No. Okay? But in the short term, if you're looking to just get out there, you'd be amazed what you can get done with just your cell phone and a flashlight and a voice recorder. Okay? And then Anthony's actually going to talk about some cat balls next.
Yeah, these are actually the cheapest thing you could probably get of anything, and you can get these in large quantity as well.
You can buy it at Walmart. You can buy it at the pet store.
You can buy them anywhere. They're pet toys. They are cat balls. Basically, you turn them on, you leave them, set them down, and they'll go off on their own after a few seconds, which we will have a brief demonstration here.
So after
once
this
it gets
turns off, you can kind of see. We'll go near it, and you can kind of see.
And in theory is if you tap it, touch it, move it in any way without any, it'll go off sensing somebody is around or something is around.
Yep.
All right. Again, these are cheap. These are easy to use. They're simple. I would actually definitely recommend those, especially if you don't have the funding to try to get anything of what we have.
And
Yep.
the way that I kind of see it is, we were using the cat balls more often when we didn't have the REM pod. The REM pod is going to be a lot more sensitive
Yes.
than the cat balls are, but when we don't really have as much money to just throw into gear, it's a lot easier to get cat balls than it is to get a REM
And
pod.
if you do some shopping online, some of the gear will come
With free cat
balls.
balls.
Yeah.
So I mean, by all means, take advantage of it.
Actually, this came with 4. When I bought this, it was a kit. Came with 4, and then same with my voice recorder.
Yeah, I actually bought a dozen cat balls for $10, and I keep them in a Crown Royal bag because I think that's just fancy. So that's another thing you can do. I'm sure lots of us have Crown Royal bags hanging around the house. At least I do. If you love whiskey, shout out. Okay, moving on from that, folks. So another thing I want to touch base on is a Bluetooth speaker. This one I actually hardwire in, but it did come with the Spirit Box 7, so sometimes this can come in handy as well. You're out on a job, some of these devices don't have the best built-in audio. Okay, maybe the speaker's kind of cruddy, but it's still capturing the sound. You're just not hearing it coming out until maybe later when you plug it in on the computer. Having a Bluetooth speaker can plug this into that, and it can make the difference in being able to hear it or not when you're out on a job. So that's another option. Another thing, when you're filming, you're looking to get a different angle, or maybe you just tired of the POV shots, you want to get something of the whole group. Another thing I purchased, which every millennial should know what this is because so many of them use it, right? Selfie stick. Okay, telescopes out to 3 different levels. Has a GoPro attachment there on the top, but it also has an attachment that came with it to mount your cell phone. Literally, I mean, you can walk around with it just like the goons you see at Universal Studios and so forth making videos. We're not goons though, people, we're professionals. And honestly, it's a pretty useful tool. I picked this up for $10 at Walmart. Can't be mad about it. It's made out of steel construction, so it's pretty durable. Is it the best thing in the world? Absolutely not. Does it get the job done for $10? Yes, it does. So I fully recommend that as well. The other thing, so our camera's actually mounted on our tripod right now, but we also have 5 or 6 little mini tripods. I would absolutely recommend those because there's going to be plenty of times where you don't want to hold your cell phone, you don't want to hold your GoPro, you don't want to hold your camera. So being able to prop those things up and allow them to shoot the scene, which gives you freedom to then go forth and do your investigations however you're going to see fit, comes in handy. And there's so many different variations out there of tripod.
The one that we're actually using right now is one of the Amazon
Basics. Yeah, that's the one that I'm shooting.
So
on
I
right
mean, if you want, you can go the cheap route with the Amazon Basics. You can go the more expensive route, and there are cheaper ones. We have used them and had some challenges with them because they're not of the best quality. So try to be careful with what you're looking for because you don't want to be on a job trying to do something and run into more problems than you have answers for.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you another example, this is another cheaper one that I picked up. Is it the best? No. This one actually came off of a ring light cam, but you can see here it does extend. You know what I mean? So
you can also see the
it's
legs.
a pain in the butt to extend back down, as you can see here, which will take me a couple minutes, but I will get it back in.
I think actually this is the one that
This is the one we had.
We fought
troubles
with on the Anawan rock job. We fought with this tripod.
That's one, and then also at the manufacturing facility, I believe this is the one that I borrowed for my solo investigation.
It is. This would be it. So I mean, but it's compact, folds up small, fits on the side of my backpack. That's the other thing too, folks. I would invest in a good backpack. You know, something that can carry all your equipment. Obviously, there's price ranges on those as well. You have backpacks that are $20. Get an Eastpak from Walmart, whatever. The one I'm actually using now is a camera bag. It's meant for some of the stuff. So the one I have right now is this one, and it actually has adjustable dividers. You can change in there depending on the size of the equipment that you wanted to put in.
The one I got is more of a military tactical aspect. It's actually by 511. So,
and
this one's mine. It's kind of small.
It actually was mine. I gave it to him.
That's true. This was awesome because I was about to buy it.
Folks, you
and-
can get this for $10 off
Yeah.
of Amazon. It's a small
was
little
awesome.
tactical bag.
And you know,
And if you're not having much gear and you're just starting out alone, this is a great way to get into the game.
especially when we're in the woods, I like to have my backpack just kind of with, you know,
Yeah.
anything that I would need for being in the woods. So I even have a mosquito net in there.
So
This I just put right on my front.
And parlaying into that,
You know?
being in the woods and being prepared, okay? This is by no means a channel about weapons, but if you're going out into the woods and you're going to be going deep into the woods, you should have a means of protecting yourself, okay? So I always, if we're going out on like a deep woods type job, I personally carry a machete, whether it's compact or a little bit longer one. That's just for basic self-defense, folks. You know, on the off chance one day we do encounter a bear, I'm probably going to meet my demise, but I'm going to go down swinging. It's not really so much people I'm worried about, but you're going out into nature, you're investigating the woods, stuff can happen.
For the brush too. I mean, sometimes it
Yes.
gets overgrown, and if you need to cut that down,
yes.
it helps to have something on you that can do that.
And you've also witnessed us carrying this stuff. We actually kind of presented it when we went to the first time we did Hockomock.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, protection from what you do not know is out there is an absolute must. Now there is something else that I would like to mention, and this is just a random case, hardcover case. Excuse me, Andrew. This is just a random hardcover case that I had managed to pick up. This is what I keep my gear in. There are many different versions and variations. A lot of them can be considered gun cases. The inside foam aspect I actually picked up on Amazon for like $20, and it's pick and pull apart. You can fit it any way you want, pull out what you need to fit your gear, and it comes in quite handy. Definitely protects the gear as well. But I mean, it's by no means any professional aspects. The more professional ones can range from anyway to $80 to $150, $200. So we're still trying to keep it cheap. I stumbled across that, took advantage of it, and that's the only reason why I got it. It was free.
Yeah. Smaller Pelican boxes start at around $40, and they go all the way up to like $500, depending on how big you want to go. They have Amazon sells them though, Pelican, lots of other brands as well. They have different advantages, disadvantages. One of the things I could tell you is maybe watch a YouTube video on it. There's actually plenty of people out there who have content creators who have made videos on the ratings of those different brands of cases. They actually do egg drop cases, egg drop tests in them as well, where they throw the case out the window with an egg inside, and you can see which ones the egg shatters and which ones it doesn't. So if you're ever really curious, they also submerge them in water to try and see which ones are actually water repellent, which ones aren't. They do all kinds of tests to them, which is cool. I actually saw one video. A guy actually took a shotgun, lit each one up with buckshot to see how many BBs passed through each case, and then counted them to see, okay, this one was like the most impact resistant.
I can tell you, mine's is probably the least impact resistant, and it's definitely not waterproof by any means.
Well, we could always test it, Anthony. That might be on another video.
Only if I can take my gear out of it first.
That's not fun. Okay.
No risk, no reward.
That's actually all I got for today, folks. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch base on when it comes to the equipment, or is there anything else you want to show off? Maybe
No,
it's
I
another
think
bag
that-
or something like
I
that.
think
No?
that pretty much
Okay.
covers
I
it.
think something to keep in mind is that this is a living list, if you will. You know, as we keep going on, you're gonna see more stuff that we add in, and
And you
There-
might even see extras of stuff too.
you're probably even gonna see stuff that we stopped using because we upgraded it. So
Just to put it in perspective, folks, too. So I'm gonna take just my stuff for a minute. This flashlight, this EMF meter, this camera, which came with the microphone, okay, if you will. All of this cost me about $250. Sorry, with the voice recorders as well. This voice recorder. This was about $250, and this is what I started with when we were doing the Belmont job. The rest of the stuff I had either laying around the house, like certain other flashlights, if you will. My digital camera, I already had that from years ago. You know what I mean? So there's stuff around, and honestly, I used my phone. Okay, the next big upgrade I made was this GoPro. Okay, so the GoPro cost me $400. The Hero 12, which is a big expense. Okay, I actually ended up financing it like on my Affirm or whatever and paying payments on it, whatever. But I knew for sure that's like the next thing I really wanted. After that, I got another thing and another thing and another thing, and that's the way you got to go about this if you're looking to get into the game. You don't have to, spend thousands of dollars day one to come out and have all this equipment. This has taken us months to collect what we have here on this table.
And you
Quite
easily
literally
could
months.
spend over $1,000 just setting up the perfect kit. But when you're first starting out, you probably shouldn't go and do that.
Right, I mean, this
You know,
camera
start off
was,
slow.
what, like 120, 130? This is a cheap Chinese brand camera, off-brand camera. Doesn't even have a brand. Like, you look it up on Amazon, it's just 4K camcorder. Like, literally, that's it. You know what I mean?
I think all of us did that.
Yeah.
It's working, though, is the thing, so don't be discouraged by the fact that you don't have a Sony or you don't have a Panasonic or you don't have a Canon or you're not shooting on like a digital SLR. It doesn't matter. You can get out there, shoot some video. The biggest thing is that you're getting out in the field, making videos, and the content's going to get better as you get better.
And you're also
shooting.
getting experience with the equipment you're using. That'll come in handy for when you actually do manage to do the upgrade. You already have a
Right.
better idea of what you're doing, how to handle it. If it has different features, you can start experimenting with those and get more ability. So there's a lot of advantages to starting off small and not jumping in big.
And just because you upgrade doesn't mean you have to stop using stuff, As I was saying earlier, with the cat balls being kind of the downgraded version of the REM pod, just because we have the REM pod doesn't mean we're going to stop using the cat balls.
Yeah, and
That's
last
still
night
an
was a good
awesome
example
thing.
of that. So last
Yeah.
night we had the REM pod, and then around it we had 5 separate cat balls all along this ledge face for Freetown Ledge. So
Perfect.
anywhere in that range that any movement was going to be found, we were going to capture that by utilizing everything that we had instead of just one device, because this only covers a certain range, But yeah, don't be. I guess if there's nothing else that I can tell you guys, don't be discouraged. We're still beginning ourselves, and we're gonna get better and better stuff in our kits as we go along. But like I said, a flashlight, a phone, and a voice recorder, really ideally, and you're in the game. And you can get a voice recorder for $20. You already have the cell phone in your pocket, and you can pick up a flashlight for $10 on Amazon for a decent one. One that you're going to be able to see in the dark, because you don't need something that's going to see a mile away. You just want something where you're going to be able to navigate at night, and you can kind of go forth from there and try to upgrade one piece at a time is kind of how I suggest it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason we've probably gotten as much as we have in the short of time is there's 3 of us, so each one of us is buying equipment as opposed to one person buying everything, and so that's made the difference for us. So
I mean, me and Andrew both have the same
yeah, the same voice recorder.
voice recorder.
I'll link that one for
Uh,
sure. I recommend it. This thing's great.
We've got a lot of the same similar stuff. That's why we can fit it all onto one table. You saw the amount of stuff that I still have in the case. So
Right,
I mean,
yeah, so
a
Anthony
lot
has
of
a
it's the
shotgun
same.
mic
I've got
too.
two different shotgun mics. One not the best of quality. One similar to what Andrew's got. It's also got the switch for amplified sound.
Right. Yep. Just like here, so you got the upgraded decibel, so you can go plus 10, plus 20, or keep it at the 0 as well. So there's different range you can go.
So I mean, there's no need for me to pull all this stuff out. I've got 2 small little mini tripods. One that is definitely the worst, but the other one's actually pretty good for the price that it was. And I mean, there's no real reason to bring everything out onto the table. So I mean, you're just seeing a small portion of what each of us have, different variations of what we have, being some of the same stuff. And some of the more expensive stuff like the RAM pod versus the cheaper version like a cat ball that you can pick up again anywhere. So I mean, by all means, get out there, do some exploring yourself. It's not that expensive.
That's it. All right, guys. So that's I think that's it for this episode of Wicked New England. And again, with the phone, gets to control the GoPro wirelessly, which is pretty sweet. Connects via Bluetooth. That's why I like it. It makes it a little handier when you shoot these podcasts because I don't have to get up. But you guys have anything else? All right.
That's it.
So that's it from Wicked New England, and we're going to catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.